Well, I'm going now.
All right. Well, Hammer House. It was recorded during the summer of 1989, and it contains only 7 tracks, but it's 1 hour long. So from that aspect, you get a lot of music for the money. And it's a little bit different from all the other records because it's slower and it's heavier.
And what about the lyrics, etc. of the album?
We are concerning a little bit more about the Viking thing now, since it's a lot more important for us than the devil thing. You know, we were singing about the devil for many years, but the problem with us was that we didn't put any humor into it. That people thought it was, serious.
So you think that any things are already...
Well, it's up to anybody to do it, It's up to anybody to sing about it. But you have to be true. You can't just sing about it because it's funny. You have to mean it as well. After a while, it's going to go shallow. It's not going to be true anymore. You have to be true to what you're doing.
There are a lot of things now, national and international, that rip off bands.
Oh, yeah.
Bands. What do you think about that?
Well, it's up to everybody rip off someone, from one aspect or another, but it's up to anybody to do whatever they want. But it's the people who will decide if a band is going to succeed with this or not is really the fans. Because if you copy too much, the fans is going to, after a while, realize, they're only copying this and that, so why should I buy their record when I can buy the original?
And what do you think about the Swedish scene?
Oh, well, there are more rock clubs in the center of London than the whole of Scandinavia. So when Bathory started, we didn't have to take care of having an image that would give us a chance to play live in Stockholm, because there were no places to play anyway.
But I have here, we have interviewed Strictly Compulsion, the band of Stockholm. Yeah. And they say the scene there is very, very cool and very healthy.
In Sweden?
Yeah.
We don't live in the same country. Where are you from in Sweden?
Stockholm.
No.
Hägersten, yeah, that's in south of Stockholm. And they are lying. There is no place to play if you're a heavy metal band. Actually, there are no rock clubs.
But what was your source of inspiration for the masterpiece track, A Fine Day to Die? Yeah, it's a great track, and the intro. I don't even talk about the intro.
Well, you can...
it's great. Fucking great.
You can take A Fine Day to Die and translate it into just about anything. A bunch of men on horses or whatever, being attacked by a major force. And, well, you have to stand up for what you're doing. I mean, regardless if you know you're going to die or not, tomorrow the battle will stand and it's a fine day to die. Regardless if you're going to win or lose or die or whatever, it's a fine day to die. In case you die, well, it's a fine day to die.
And what about the Portuguese scene? Did you know anything about it, or don't know anything about it?
I've been in Portugal for, how long? 12 hours?
Yeah.
Well, 12 hours.
But you haven't heard anything about it before?
No, I was asked before if I knew any Portuguese bands, but I don't. So in case there's anybody who knows any Portuguese bands, I heard some on the radio interview 2 hours ago, and that was really good, because I think the record companies should concentrate a little bit more on the Portuguese bands. Then perhaps there will be more bands in Portugal, and it's good for metal if Portuguese bands get signed.
And what do you think about the mood here?
This is great. Thumbs up for everybody in here, because if you come to places like London or New York, they know they're used to people coming there every day. But I mean,
we have very few gigs in Portugal, yeah.
No, but I mean, the rock guys, they really doesn't seem to concern about Portugal at all, and that sucks, because you can be true wherever you live. It doesn't matter. And we want to go all over. We are on a European trip right now. It takes us to through 10 different countries. And Portugal is important for us because we receive letters. Well, from girls, but well, letters anyway.
Do you have any plans to play live?
Well, after this promotion trip is done, which is going to take yet another week, we are going to go back to Stockholm and we'll make a video on a ballad, which is on the new LP, Song to Hall of High, and then yet another track, which is called Shores of Flames, which is going to cost a lot of money to do, because it's boats and people and everything. And as soon as that is over, we will record the 6th LP, which will either be titled Twilight of the Gods or Through Blood by Thunder. And that one is going to be out sometime during Christmas, and then we'll see. We'd like to come out anyway.
And what's the meaning of the tour? The name itself?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we might as well call it the cockroach tour. The hotel cockroach tour.
And, well, you are considered a major band. I mean, you have records, etc. But are you still in the underground scene? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Do you have connections with underground?
Well, that's the greatest thing. Even though, I mean, after 7 years, we're still considered to be an underground band,
Yes,
and we are
great.
very flattered by that. I mean, if people would consider us to be a major band, that would mean that we have lost contact with the fans. And if people do consider us to be above underground, we would have to do something that would draw us down to the lower level again.
So you believe that underground is the real metal scene?
Yes.
In the underground?
The metal comes from inside and not from outside.
In the album The Return, you have a track, I think it's the album The Return, dedicated to the Countess Erymanthon Bathory.
That's
Why?
Woman of Dark Desires from
Yeah, the Woman of Dark Desires.
From the third LP.
Yeah.
Why we dedicated it to her? I mean, after
She was burned alive.
Right. She was, well, not really burnt alive. Her corpse was burnt. She died because she didn't eat anything. She was involved in her bedroom.
Yeah.
And then he took her body out and stabbed her into pieces and then burned the pieces.
Yeah,
Because
great track.
That's the way they do to women in Hungary.
Well,
But that's what she did.
as you're in the underground scene, could you tell us, well, a few bands that you think are going to make it? You know,
And the underground.
Yes. Not
There's,
only in
oh,
Sweden.
there's no, but I mean in Sweden, all over there are so many bands, and it's really up to the record companies. I mean, they have signed so many bands right now. There are probably about 500 speed thrash death metal bands, really good ones, that have records out. And even though the bands themselves are a lot of them, there will never be too many more fans. So it's quality that matters, not quantity. And there are certain labels which put out a lot of bands, whereas they don't concern about quality, they're concerned about quantity instead.
Yes, he's asking me if you still mind calling you a death metal band.
Well, we was asked in 1983, what do you call yourself? You know, because at that time in 1983, 7 years ago, everybody called themselves black metal. And we said, well, okay, our lyrics deal mostly with death. So let's call ourselves death metal. And 6 months later, everybody calls themselves death metal, including, you know, Hellhammer and Celtic Frost and all that. So what do we call ourselves now after 7 years? Well, why not power metal? Because we'd rather bet with power that goes to your heart, the noise that goes to your ears.
Quorthon, what are your main influences? Not as a band, you specifically, you Quorthon. What are your main influences?
Your taste.
That would probably be the classical things that I do listen to, Richard
Not
Wagner.
just bands,
Well,
things that
I mean-
inspire the track.
I mean, if you write lyrics and music, it really doesn't take anything more than just a piece of paper and a pencil. Because what you have, it's in your head anyway. You read a good book, you go to the libraries, or you go to the museums, or you have a good dinner, or you make love all night with a woman, or you do a lot of things. I mean, anything can inspire you.
Yeah.
You tell me if there was an evolution on your goals since the beginning.
Of course there was.
Yes, but what were the difference between your the first goals of the band and the actual?
Well, from the beginning, everybody knows about Scandinavian Metal Attack compilation, the compilation album, on which there are 2 Bathory tracks, The Return of Darkness and Evil and Sacrifice, which was recorded in January 1984. And we had our 2 tracks on that LP basically because the company needed one more band on this. There were 5 bands, and each of these bands had 2 tracks. And I said, hey, take my band, because we are really special. Because I was helping the record company out choosing bands for this LP. And as the whole thing turned out, we were the only band who received a lot of fan mail from this LP. And as the thing turned out, the fans wanted us to make the whole LP. And so we did. But by that time, I had kicked the other members out because they weren't concentrating on the band at all. They
Yes,
didn't
you
want
have you have the status of one-man band.
Yes.
What do you think about that now?
Well, that is very stupid, because for 7 years I've been doing interviews with journalists, and the big magazines have reached out to a lot of people. They never print the truth, really, because the only thing that they concern more is actually to print things that are exciting, you know, which will sell magazines and, well, not actually go in the way of the truth. So it's a hell of a job for me going around and telling everybody this is not a one-man band, and this is not a project or anything like that. I've been having a lot of problems with members simply because in Sweden there's there's no real strive to make it within rock and roll. If you don't make any money directly, you can go back to the work. Being a computer engineer, which you are educated for in the first place, you know, they cut their hair and, you know, they spend time with their girlfriends and something like that, you know.
She's asking, why do you base your lyrics in Viking mythology?
Because for a lot of years we used to sing about what's below ground. And that's not very nice, especially when you're sending dead rats and dead hamsters in the fan mail and things like that. And you are bound to need to know something different and put it across to the fans. Why not sing about my history, you know, the history of my nation? I mean, you Portuguese, you must be rather proud. I don't know if you can say proud, but you ought to be, you ought to be proud about your, you know, conquistadores, you know. Well, we have the Vikings, you know.
Quorthon, once you have said in Metal Hammer, I read it in Metal Hammer, that in the streets of Stockholm I'm just anyone, but on stage I'm Quorthon, the almighty, the evil one. What does exactly?
I say that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. It was Götz
You didn't?
Götz Könemund, the journalist, wrote that.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Time out.
Okay, just one. Last comments for the Portuguese version.
Well, hang on and, you know, stand up for yourself, because no matter where you live, what do you look like, how you dress, how much money you have, or anything like that, the sword is inside.
Just one question. She's asking, what's the meaning of the sign of the black mark?
The sign of the black mark.
Sign of the black mark.
Well, it's an old saga. You know this sign. It's very familiar. It's called the sign of Vor, V-O-O-R. And it's more or less the sign of the goat, which in the Swedish story, on Christmas night, the goat becomes, you know, with a human mind. He can talk. So he talks to all the animals and say, like, have the man been bad to you, you know, beating you and something like that, asking the dog things, and they are mean to the man back on Christmas night. And I draw something which is on the back of the first elf cup, you know, the black mark sign. And below that, below ground, you have the 3 claws with black nails. And when the black nails scratch you, that means that your soul becomes black. And that's the black mark.
Could you just give us your address so we can...
Time's up, time's up.
This Thursday you can take it. Could you write your address so that we can send you the lead with the interview?
Okay, Quorthon.
This is your pass, right?
Quorthon, bye. I hope I hope you play a gig here, okay? I'm sorry.
We have more interviews on the hotel, you know, and telephone interviews and photos and radio.
I hope a good promotion to you, okay?
Great.
Ciao, Steve. Sta de frente já ainda, pá.
Well, Marshall's running around saying...
Yeah. Always. É, pá, isto também está com pouca luz. Vai.
Vê se apanhas todos, é? Está homem! Again. Muda a roupa.
Agora. Vamos embora.
Só mais dentro. Vai. Mais uma. Vai. Bora aí. Foi ele que saltou, né? Bora, Jorge. Anda para aqui.
The batteries are running out.
Sabem cozinhar.
Sei, pá, mas sabes que isto é exclusivo nacional.
Não disse nada.